We're in hell right now, gentlemen. We're in hell. We have a couple of options. We can stay here and get the shit kicked out of us, or we can climb our way out. We can fight back toward the light. We can climb out of hell. And the interesting thing about this fight, this battle, this war, is that it's not won once. You don't make the decision once. You don't do the action once. You don't show up once and it all changes. We like to believe that it can. We like to believe that it does. But that doesn't seem to be the reality of the situation. The reality of the situation seems to be that you have to show up every single day and continue to fight. And so, to those of us who are in those micro battles, who are in those mini hells, I ask that you continue, man. I ask that you continue to show up, even when you're weak. You continue to choose the new habits over the old ones. You can't keep falling back to what you used to know. You can't keep doing what you used to do. You can't keep watching what you used to watch, eating, drinking, working out the way you used to work out, doing everything the way that you used to and expect there to be change. Now, a scary thought. What if nothing changes because you change nothing? What if nothing changes because you don't change? Very, very scary thought, right? And so, with that in mind, I urge that we behave today. We decide today. It's a nice word, decide. It comes from the Latin word decida, which means to cut off. And so we cut off the alternatives. You close off, you burn the bridges, you do whatever it is that you have to do to make sure that the pathway back to who you used to be is well and truly closed, and that the pathway forward is the only option that there is. Cute to say it, adorable to say it, but you realize in those moments that no matter how much you burn, no matter how many doors you close, because that's a part of you, as a part of who you are now, because it formed or informed the lifestyle that you don't live, right? Sometimes the life that you lived is the perfect reason for the life that you live now. And so it's a part of you. And so what you need to realize is it will always be a part of you. Hence, the battle is daily. You do have to show up every day. You do have to fight every day. You do have to make sure that you're keeping the parts of you in check. And the thing about it, I'll tell you about my situation specifically, is when you have created such a stark contrast between what you used to be and what you are, there are still elements that exist within your life that existed when you used to be and continue to exist now as you are. The fight is not necessarily to stay here and stay away from there, but the fight is when the overlap does happen, what's left on you? What do you keep? And those are the micro choices, choosing to journal yet another day, choosing to read yet another book instead of, starting that series, choosing to go out, work out instead of going to clubs, parties, choosing to spend the weekend catching up on whatever content you need to record, spending time with family instead of chasing these empty dopamine cycles. Yet another party, yet another night, yet another girl, yet another experience, the nights that never die, the things we remember. But I'd rather live an everyday that is worth living than have those nights that I always chase or try to remember or try to, because it feels like a constant state of chasing after something that you don't have, chasing after an experience, a time, or whatever that is not the present. And I would love for my present to be building my future, but my present within itself, the process within itself, the day by day, to be not necessarily always an enjoyable experience. I mean, pain is a part of the process, but suffering is optional. And so to find the enjoyment within the pain, to find the setbacks for what they are, which is stepping stones, not roadblocks. It's a step. It's not a giant wall. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. So being it as it is that we are in hell, being it as it is that we have the responsibilities that we have to continue, because I cornered myself. I feel like that's the major problem that I'm not addressing. I put myself in the corner with this thing because it is good for myself, now, future, family. It's good for friends. It's good for any clients. It's good for any observers or fans of what I have going on. It's good for literally all concerned stakeholders. It's good for society. And I asked myself, would God approve? And I said to myself, yes. When when it's good for you, it's good for the people around you, it's good for society as a whole, and God would approve, then you have no moral right to give up. You have no moral right to give in. You have no moral right to sleep in, to spend a day without, in some way, shape, or form, progressing towards that dream and making it a reality. And so I reiterate one last time before I leave you. We are in hell right now, gentlemen. And we can stay here and get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back to the light. My 2 cents, let's fight continuously, every day, not falling back to what we used to know, what we used to be, but pressing forward all the time, realizing that we will be imperfect, we will slip, but going into battles that you know you're not going to win, putting yourself in situations, hanging out with people, like whatever it is that puts you in the circumstances where you fall back, that's a choice. That's deliberate. And I would love for you not to do that. And I would love for you to not rely on discipline, but rather to curate your environment, because the environment, it shapes and molds the brain, but the clever brain dictates its environment. I hope you did in fact enjoy it. If you did, please hit the subscribe button. I have been Sage, standing on business. Signing out.